Hey, welcome back to Reflecting Redemption YouTube channel and a Hospitality 101 video. I'm going to give you my best tips for hospitality. I've had a lot of practice and I can't wait to share with you the things that I've learned as I prepare a meal for a friend who just had a baby. Okay, I quickly got myself pulled together, pulled my hair back into like a tight bun so that there's no hair falling anywhere while I'm cooking. That is a big no-no. I'm getting ready to put my apron on and get started. The first thing that I do when I'm working on either hosting people or taking a hospitality meal to somebody is making sure the kitchen is clean before I even get started cooking. So that's what I have to do first. Just finished making breakfast. There's French toast stuff everywhere. You can see just the dishwasher is open. It needs a good clean. So that's our first prerogative today, clean the kitchen. I've spent my life surrounded by women who have taught me what it means to be hospitable, and it all points back to the biblical principle found in Romans chapter 12, starting in verse 13, distributing to the necessity of saints, given to hospitality. Bless them which persecute you, bless and curse not. Rejoice with them that do rejoice, and weep with them that weep. Our call to hospitality is found in life's greatest joys and deepest sorrows. My go-to hospitality meal is lasagna, green beans, bread, and brownies. So it's super basic, it's super simple. And what I do is I choose two things that are more moderately difficult, like the lasagna, which is really not hard, and also the sourdough bread, which I've kind of got down to a science now that I feel comfortable sharing it as a meal with other people. And then I pick two things that are simpler. So the side dish is green beans, because salad can get really expensive and you just don't know what people like in their salad and what kids like in their salad. Kids can be a little more picky with vegetables and things like that. So I find that green beans are a safe option most of the time. And who doesn't love brownies? And of course I use a box mix. I can make homemade brownies and they taste good, but nothing tastes better than these, and I'll show you. These are the best tasting brownies that I've ever found. And I have this on very good authority because we have tried so many box brownie mixes. These are our favorite. Okay, so I have my next tip, which is to get disposable containers. Nobody wants to wash your dishes and bring them back to you. I've made the mistake of taking my own dishes to people's places, and it's just, don't do it. It's really not good for anybody. They don't want to scrub lasagna out of your pan. I'm getting started with my sourdough bread first because it has the rise time to it and I want to make sure it all turns out well, so I wanted to get it going pretty quickly. I don't want to share a whole lot about this today. If you will subscribe and look forward to some future videos, I'm going to share all about my journey in learning about sourdough and share the foolproof artisan sourdough recipe that I have mastered and I am literally addicted to. And it is this bread that I'm making today. It is so good. Sourdough is prepped and it is currently resting so that I can start stretching and folding it. I've got about half an hour, so that'll put me about 10-15 stretching and folding it and getting it ready. In the meantime, I'm gonna clean up the sourdough mess and then we're gonna make brownies. Do you wanna help me make brownies?
Yeah.
He's dying to get his hands in the middle of it, aren't you? Yeah? Eli loves to help in the kitchen, so he wanted to put the brownies together with me, which I was totally fine with. So we just mixed up the package, and like I said earlier, it's okay to have some things that are store-bought. Actually, it's best this way because what I found is when you try to make everything from scratch, you end up sacrificing quality and you spread yourself way too thin. Brownies just came out. Look good.
Yummy.
Yummy. They do look yummy.
Yeah.
Not for us to eat, sadly, sadly. We'll have to buy us a box of them one day. They are our favorite. Okay, it's time to start doing the sauce for the lasagna and I can start building it. So I'm gonna start with some onion, garlic, and hamburger meat. So I have a pound of ground beef, about half an onion, and 2 cloves of garlic. And I'm browning those up in my pot right now, and I'll add my spaghetti sauce to it. I'm also gonna salt and pepper and add a little bit of water. The water will help the meat to get into smaller pieces. I don't like big chunks of hamburger meat in my lasagna. The meat is doing its thing, browning up.
Oh, yeah, have to.
Come on. You have to stand over here though.
Okay.
So we are going to get the cheese mixture ready.
This is my mother-in-law's lasagna recipe that I have tweaked a little bit to make my own. It's linked in the description box if you're interested. You can go over to the blog and get a printable recipe card for it, and I hope you like it as much as we do. A basic lasagna is the perfect rib sticking comfort food that you need after you have gone through something like having a baby or maybe a time of grief and loss. It's just a really good comfort food to bring to somebody that is in need of a meal because it's very warming and it's just always reminiscent. Almost everybody likes it, and it's a very like reminiscent childhood type of meal. So I find that it's my favorite one to reach for.
I'm gonna go ahead and put the lasagna in the oven and prep the green beans. So to those green beans, I just did it was a quart and a pint of home canned green beans, and I drained all the liquid off of them and put them in the pan. And then I added about 1 to 2 tablespoons of olive oil, salt, pepper, bacon bits. Yes, I use the store-bought ones, but you can obviously use real bacon and it'll be even better. And then a couple of squeezes of honey, probably 2 to 3 tablespoons, because I like honey and green beans. I think it's good. So those are in the oven at 350 with the lasagna. I'm gonna let them cook however long they want to for like an hour. And then at 330, like I said, the bread's going in. And then in the meantime, let's make some whipped butter.
I find that it's often the simple touches that make a meal so special, so this whipped honey butter to go on top of that sourdough bread is going to be so perfect. I just set out a couple sticks of butter at room temperature, added some heavy cream and some honey, and whipped it all up with the whisk attachment on my stand mixer, and it was so good.
Okay, it is time to pull the lasagna out and put the bread in and get the oven preheated to 450 with the Dutch oven in it, so that we can make some sourdough bread. So actually, I hate to say this because it's not totally done yet, but this day of cooking has gone really well. So, but it's probably because I cleared out my to-do list and this is the only thing that I've been doing today, and I think that really helps. That is a lesson that I've learned as well, and that is a tip when you're preparing to do something hospitable, like fix a meal or invite people in. Don't try to stuff everything in, and I do this all the time, but I'm always more joyful about it, and it always turns out better when I don't stuff a million things into one day, and I focus and do a good job on the thing that I'm focused on, which is preparing the meal. So it's gone really well. Look how pretty! It rose so well today. I wanted to thank you so much for watching today, and I'd encourage you to find a way to be hospitable to somebody you know, whether it's like me and you have a friend that has a new baby, or maybe somebody who's faced loss, or somebody who's been through a hard time, or just to tell somebody that you care about them. Whatever it is, go out of your comfort zone today and make a meal and take it to someone, but be sure you keep it simple, something that you're comfortable with doing. Don't reinvent the wheel, and make sure it's yummy.
And now I'm off to my friend's house to deliver this food and to hopefully bless them with a restful evening with their new baby and their family. Thank you so much for watching, and leave a comment to let me know what's your go-to hospitality meal, or what maybe you picked up from this video that you didn't know before. And I hope you'll subscribe, and I'll see you next week.